Hi, good afternoon. Welcome to the marketplace. We've got our eyes on Parliament for you, where the minorities protesting the declaration of the Pandai seat as vacant. We'll go there when there are new developments over there. But we head straight to our stories. The Bank of Ghana has injected $10 billion into the market this year to support the Cedi Stability. This figure is based on central bank data covering total foreign exchange auctions from January to December. Here's more in the following report.
Now, this is the total amount of dollars that the Bank of Ghana has sold to the market from January to the first week of December this year to meet the dollar needs of businesses. This has indirectly gone a long way to aid the Ghana cedi stability. Majority of the dollars has come from the windfall made from rising gold prices under the gold purchase program. The Bank of Ghana has used some of the windfall to support its dollar builder program in terms of reserves, meet any upcoming debt repayment, and give the rest back to the market in terms of dollar support. Now, another reason why one should not be worried about Ghana's reserves being depleted is that in December 2024, Ghana's international reserves stood at $9.1 billion. Now, fast forward to October this year, and it has reached $11.4 billion. And there are strong indications that it would hit more than $12 billion by the end of this year. The data clearly showed that the actions of the Bank of Ghana has not worsened our reserves position. Therefore, some market watchers have told Joy Business that the dollar auction program has not left the Bank of Ghana's reserves in a sorry position, but rather a strong one. Just in October this year, the Bank of Ghana auctioned $1.3 billion to support the market. It came down to $1 billion in November this year and $800 million so far in December this year.
Now, Rural Bank PLC has commenced processes to increase its loans administration to improve profitability in subsequent years. Financial indicators have revealed the bank will hit record profit margins by the close of 2025. Already, a profit increase of 246% was recorded in 2024, putting the company on the path of recovery after the setback caused by the domestic debt exchange program. Nanaya Ojima was at the annual general meeting and has filed this report.
The increase in profit was driven mainly by deposits and strengthened loan administration. According to Chief Executive Officer Michael Edu, loans were tailored to meet the demands of customers, with group and commercial loans being of interest. In improving the gains made in the area, the bank is in the process of improving loan administration with efforts to introduce new products.
We strategically took a relook at our loan performance and asset quality. And so we strengthened our credit administration, especially the group loans and the short-term facilities. So that is what we did, and we were able to turn over our funds, and we were able to make that level of income and profits. And then also another aspect we looked at was our deposit mobilization drive. We map up strategies to mobilize a lot, as much as we can, and actually it yielded positive results.
Despite the increase in profit margins, the bank was unable to secure authorization from the Bank of Ghana to pay dividends for the 2024 financial year. By a directive of the Bank of Ghana, banks are restrained from paying dividends unless written approval is secured from the Bank of Ghana. Mr. Edu says measures are being put in place to ensure that dividends are paid to shareholders in the coming year.
The way forward on dividend is very positive, in the sense that we were hit by the locked up funds. We have some funds locked up. We were also hit by the DDEP that was, done by the previous government. But despite all this, we've been able to come up from the capital adequacy ratio, which went down to 1.something%. And now we've come up. We are almost hitting 10%. And so with that, we believe that we'll be able to do a lot in 2025.
For Joy News, Nanaya Ojima reporting.
And you're watching The Marketplace. We're taking a short break. When we come back, with Christmas just around the corner, many Ghanaians are preparing to open their wallets for gifts, food, and festive celebrations. But what factors are shaping consumer spending this season? We'll discuss on our Tuesday Exchange. Don't go anywhere. And welcome back to The Marketplace and to The Exchange. With Christmas just around the corner, many Ghanaians are preparing to open their wallets for gifts, food, and festive celebrations. But what factors are shaping consumer spending this season? Joining me on Zoom for our Tuesday Exchange is Atumaika, Chief Executive of Maverick Research Ghana, to get insights on spending trends, what's influencing decisions, and what businesses can expect in the lead up to the holidays. Good afternoon to you. And so let's begin with what the key trends you're seeing are in consumer spending in Ghana this year as you approach the holiday season. You're muted.
Thanks, Eric. Can you hear me?
Loud and clear.
Okay. Thank you. The key trends that we're seeing this Christmas is actually much more buoyant for the consumer sector. We're seeing a return to growth. If we look at food as a category and as a segment, we see volume growth in that segment. We see the same for home and personal care, albeit mixed, even with price increases versus last year. Non-alcoholic beverages actually is a bit, has been mixed the first 3 quarters of this year, but obviously going into the festive season, we expect to have a significant uptake and growth, which is usually the uptime for both for the total beverage categories. But for Christmas spending trends, we see the Ghanaian consumer coming back versus last year, versus the past 24 months. And so we're quite optimistic about this Christmas and spending within this festive period.
Just wondering, what factors such as inflation, employment, or promotions are likely to influence how Ghanaians spend during this season?
So Ghanaians have consistently said they're looking for price relief, right? So on the back of the cedi appreciation against the most foreign currency, and also the stability, the overall general stability and improvement in the inflationary environment, what Ghanaian consumers are looking for is price relief. And I'm using the word price relief, intentionally, right? So price relief for consumers can come in two ways. Either you give them more value for the same amount of money, or you reduce prices as they have it, right? And so that is what Ghanaian consumers are looking for. And we can see, even with recent work that we've done, that brands that have extended relief, either through direct price reduction or an enhanced offering in the market at the same price, have seen growth in their volume sales.
Are there particular sectors or industries you expect to see the biggest boost in sales this Christmas?
So typically, food and beverages definitely have their uptick during this period. Home and personal care, this is not usually the boom season for them, right? And that doesn't mean that people are not taking showers and brushing their teeth, but food and beverages, that's the season for it.
And how does this year's spending outlook compare to previous festive seasons, and what might be driving any differences?
So what we've seen this year is that even over the past 24 months, we've seen volume growth with any price increase, right? So even sectors that were not essential sectors that were essential were being highly elastic, right? So any price increases, you see people cutting back. I think we've seen a return to a stable, more disposable income, which now you can see, even with price increases, consumers are going back and still buying, premium products or absorbing the cost without cutting back on the volume purchases in that sense. And once again, I think, if we're talking in terms of consumer categories, beverages and food are definitely in vogue during this period.
And based on your research, what should businesses be doing now to attract consumers and make the most of the holiday spending surge?
Ghanaians, we are looking for price relief. Give us enhanced value. We've suffered from, obviously suffered from the inflationary trends to date. And we are ready, as the data is saying, we're ready to reward brands and manufacturers that offer price relief from that in that sense.
Thank you so much, Atumaka. Appreciate your time with us here on the Marketplace. Hope to speak with you another time, and enjoy the rest of the day. You're watching the Marketplace. We want to take you some more stories. The Africa Center for Energy Policy, ACEP, has partnered with Solar Taxi Ghana to advance a gender-responsive and inclusive energy transition through a new capacity-building program targeting young women in green energy technologies. There is more in this report.
The Africa Center for Energy Policy has signed a memorandum of understanding with Solar Taxi Ghana as part of effort to promote a gender-responsive and inclusive energy transition. Speaking at the signing ceremony in Accra, the policy lead on petroleum and conventional energy at ACEP, Kojo Yaute, emphasized the program's potential to positively influence Ghana's just energy transition.
Through this program, we hope to enhance access for young women to green skills and employment in the green energy sector, support Ghana's just transition agenda by putting gender equity at the heart of labor development. We also hope through this to bridge the gap between research and industry, testing inclusive training models that can be scaled nationwide. And finally, we hope to foster innovation, mentorship, and entrepreneurship among young women who will lead the technologies of tomorrow. It is our hope that in the next 3 years, this program would have reached about 200 beneficiaries.
CEO of Solar Taxi, George Appiah, also highlighted the economic benefits of green mobility across Africa.
We see the growth of e-mobility in Africa, in Ghana and in Africa, as a greater economic opportunity for us to partake in the value creation of the transition. It needs to create jobs. It needs to build our economy. It needs to transform the lives of many young people who are out there looking for jobs. We need to move away from that era where we're just consuming the vehicles. All it cares about is let's put the vehicle, let them bring down here on. Then when it comes to, there are still some vehicles that have to be exported back to wherever they produce from, even for them to maintain. So we need to change that. So for me, we see this as a paradigm shift. Let's use this green evolution, not just to transit to cleaner energy, to save the environment, but as an economic opportunity for us to partake in.
The MOU establishes a collaborative framework for the Green Energy Technology Capacity Development Program, a capacity-building initiative aimed at equipping young Ghanaian women with practical skills and opportunities in green energy technologies.
Now, Director of Licensing and Regulation at the Postal and Courier Services Regulatory Commission, John Olete Otute, says the Commission is working to engage with key stakeholders to boost employment opportunities, particularly in fast-growing food delivery sector. He said this at the 2025 Bold Food Awards.
Growing market, Ghana's food delivery sector is not only reshaping how we order meals, it's transforming livelihoods, creating jobs, and attracting new opportunities for investors. Director of Licensing and Regulation at the Postal and Courier Services Regulatory Commission said the company is further engaging other key stakeholders.
So it tells us that to solve the unemployment or to ameliorate the unemployment problem or situation in Ghana, we need to look at the courier sector, the delivery sector. It can offer employment to millions of Ghanaian youths. And both has demonstrated the fact that it is possible to create employment for even millions of Ghanaians.
Country manager for Bold Food, Ali Zayab, said the company will create income for thousands of couriers and provide a platform that helps businesses grow.
Without a doubt, we need to make sure that we're part of this ecosystem, and health and safety is our priority. We really want to work with all the partners who are licensed, who have all the certifications from FDA, because at the end of the day, we also don't want any customer to get their lives at risk. So we want to make sure that the food which is delivered to them, it is always is cooked properly, is delivered to the customer in the right way, it is as it is expected.
Abdul Rahman Ishaq emerged as the star performer for 2025.
And that's the marketplace, everybody. Thanks for watching. There's more news on our website, nigeriaonline.com/business. My name is Daryl Kwao. Thanks for watching. We leave you with our Money Lab episode for today.
Hello, welcome to Money Lab. My name is Paul Mante, MD of EDC Investment Limited. The last few weeks we've been dealing with the issue of personal finance. And today I want you to reflect on this important question that I think that every employee needs to ask yourself. What is that question? If you didn't have to work from today, how many months, how many years can you live your life without a salary? I asked myself this question the year 2006, and I want you to reflect on this question, because for me, the average worker must have what I call 6 months of income cover. If the worst should happen, you should be able to live your normal life for 6 months. But ultimately, you need to get to a point where you are asked the same question. You can respond, for the rest of my life, I can live without a salary. Many thanks for making time for Money Lab. And remember, financial independence is possible.